So, Facebook has messed up TikTok, Spotify, Tinder, and many other apps. They are now fixed, but they were messed up for a fair bit. On iOS, anyway. Supreme Court will hear Facebook's robocalling case. Google is facing antitrust probes in every state but one. Apparently, not confirmed. And also, in a surprise to a lot of people actually, a recently leaked new Google Home device was actually confirmed by Google soon after being leaked. Now, I've got some information on all of these things, so I guess we should get started. Now, today's not going to be in segments. They're not really yes, there is a link between the Facebook case and the Google case, but due to the differences being very clear between all four of them, I'll just go roll it into one. So the first one is the Facebook issue. Now, it's now been resolved, but on iPhones and iPads, apps like Spotify couldn't launch. Now, I actually experienced this myself. So, I literally been on Spotify 10 minutes before this. I was doing some work, I was just changing my music. I was listening to some music, it was on my Google Home, so it didn't stop playing. I decided, you know what, I want to change my music. So, I pop onto the Spotify app. So, for the first time I did it, it worked absolutely fine. Next time I go to do it, it's just not working. And I can't load it. I'm assuming, oh no, iOS 14 must have really glitched with a recent update for Spotify or something. I'll just have to use my phone. I check my phone, nothing's really on there. About half an hour later, I find out this, and I'm just relieved that iPadOS 14, hasn't completely messed up my Spotify, and it was just a Facebook issue. Now, this, basically, this app. So what happened is, basically, Facebook changed the SDK, and that basically caused any app that's not the Facebook app, as far as I can tell, to crash. I don't know why this is, but none of the apps crashed on Android, and I can confirm that Spotify did not crash on Android during the same time period. Now, if you're wondering why I was able to use it on my phone, as I just alluded to, I use an Android phone. I'm an iPhone, I'm Apple for tablets. Really, if you want a tablet, you should probably go Apple. Android for phones, and then Windows for computers. No, Windows and Linux for computers. And macOS, actually. I'm literally on basically... Apple has 2, Microsoft has 1, Linux has 1, and Android has 1. I'm all over the place with my software, and it's absolutely crazy, trust me. I'm still messing about with the exact software configuration I want on my computer. So, what portion I want Mac, what portion I want Linux, what portion I want Windows. If you're wondering how I have macOS on my Windows PC, I'm not really going to say, because I know that Apple could figure out a way to stop it, and I don't really want to do that. So, yeah, but long story short, I have it. It's fairly easy to do. If you just search up macOS Linux VM snapd, then you'll find that literally you install one program, and it does it all for you. That's all I'm going to give you for that, sorry. I don't really want to lose much. But I don't want to lose it because it's really handy. But basically what's happening is that besides all of that, basically the SDK was broken, and they acknowledged it on their developer platform when it happened, but they were causing numerous iOS apps to crash. Now, by around 9, so this occurred at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. However, by around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, it was normally working, and at 10:30 a.m. ET, they said it had been resolved. Now, according to a spokesperson who replied to The Verge, they said that earlier today, a code change triggered crashes for some iOS apps using the Facebook SDK. They identified the issue quickly and resolved it. To be fair, a 3.5 hour turnaround completely for them to say it's working, but more like 2.5 hours. That is a very good coding turnaround time. So yeah, that is impressive. But it's still quite justified, as a near identical problem for this occurred on May 6th, so the annoyance is definitely justified. Because this is the second time this has happened this year. So, apparently, the root of the issue is that Facebook, encouraging developers to integrate its login services into apps, offers them valuable insights about app usage and advertising in return. So Facebook does push developers into installing their SDK. It allows them to get very rich data they can collect on users. It's also a convenience for developers and marketing teams, because it can be used to track the conversions of ads run through Facebook. So when there's an issue with Facebook services, basically everything fails. Now, I just thought of something actually. If I've been using the Anchor app on my iPad to record, I'm pretty sure that Facebook actually has it's actually on the Anchor app. So that probably could have caused me a crash if I've been using it. Luckily, I actually can't use the microphone on my iPad. It's kind of broken, so in terms of avoiding that one, I got a nice scapegoat for that, as I just have to use my Android phone anyway. But still, it really does show how just important these SDKs are and how important it is that they stay updated and properly checked before pushed out. I mean, we don't know how big the code change was, but it could have been terrible. Let's go on to Google now, let's do the Supreme Court's robocalling case for Facebook. So, basically, unwanted Facebook text messages are apparent or have at some point been illegal, but the Supreme Court has agreed to hear Facebook's defence after an appeals court determined it violated anti-robocalling rules. Now, this is basically to determine whether automated alert text count as an automatic telephone dialing system, establishing a clearer definition of illegal phone spam. Now, Facebook was sued by a non-Facebook user, Noah Duguid, in 2015, who complained that he received unwanted text messages from the site. The alerts told him that someone was trying to access his non-existent Facebook account, and he couldn't get Facebook to stop sending them. He argued that Facebook had violated the TCPA, Telephone Consumer Protection Act, which is supposed to protect Americans from unwanted auto-dialed calls. Personally, I think that could have been a mistake, and it could have simply made just a small mistake between sending it to the wrong number. Like, it could have made a one-digit difference when the person put in their number, and that's caused this. But apparently, its automated system functions similarly to a regular smartphone. So apparently, a ruling against it could make ordinary phone calls illegal. Now, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals disagreed with this logic and said Facebook's texts clearly fit the category of automated, unsolicited, and unwanted phone messages. It complements another Supreme Court robocalling decision, where they overturned the legal exception for government debt collectors, sidestepping an attempt to strike down the prohibitions. Facebook raised a similar issue in its petition, but the court will focus instead on the definition question. Now, if Facebook loses its case, it will be required to pay damages to any user who received unwanted messages within a period of several years. It may also affect which automated calls are considered legal. Robocalls are surging regardless of laws though, so it probably won't make a huge difference. Yeah, I don't know where I stand on this one. Like, if it was just a genuine mistake, where say someone had put in their phone number wrong, and that allowed that to happen, where the phone number was just wrong when someone inputted it on the Facebook app, I don't know if Facebook is really liable for this. Yeah, I don't know. See, it depends on whether Facebook whether it was simply a mistake, and if it was an actual user error where the user put their number in wrong, then I don't think Facebook can be blamed for that. Because if a user puts in their number wrong, then that's the number Facebook has to contact in this sort of emergency, and they've ticked, yeah, contact me during that, then all due respect, I don't believe Facebook can be blamed for that. However, if this is just Facebook going random and sending an alert to a random number for no reason, then I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue. It's complicated, this one, actually. Surprising, really, how these things that you wouldn't think are complicated are actually fairly complicated in principle. Yeah, it just depends on whether it was a genuine mistake and it was more based on user error, or whether it was actually Facebook being robocalls. So, yeah, that's it for that story. We're going on to Google now. So, Google is now apparently facing antitrust probes in every state apart from one. Now, California has now launched its own antitrust probe into Google as it faces dominance for online advertising. Politico on late Thursday. Now, this is coming through Politico from unofficial sources. Now, we don't know whether this is official. It may not be. It may be official. It may be completely unofficial. It could not be true. This is a rumor. This is unsubstantiated. But apparently, the California Attorney General Xavier Becerra, sorry if I got that name wrong, has opened the antitrust probe. Now, we don't know which aspect of Google's business is being targeted, but it's also said to be separate from the antitrust investigation launched in September by 48 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. Now, this probe would leave Alabama as the only state not known to be investigating Google's practices, and they declined to comment to protect the integrity of their work. It is their practice not to comment on a pending or a potential investigation, even to confirm or deny their existence. That is very understandable. I completely agree with that, actually. I think that if you then confirm an investigation, companies are able to do things about that. Now, they're worried about Google, and I hate this word, but stifling innovation. It's not stifling innovation. We have to be careful how we use that, really. See, is Google stifling innovation just because they do things first? Like, you're first, you're stifling innovation, or you're ahead of everyone, are you stifling your innovation? Or because you're so far ahead, you've actually done it first, it's now been facilitated as it can happen, I've known it can happen. Now, the other things I do agree with as user privacy violations, that can be a tough one to crack, I'm not sure. Google also apparently could have an outside role in the spread of information online. Outside, how do you really measure someone's role in the spread of information online? CEO Sundar Pichai said in January that with Google scale rightfully comes scrutiny. So, they fully admit that they believe they are rightful to have scrutiny. And a statement by the Texas Solicitor General says Stark past investigations of Google uncovered violations ranging from advertising illegal drugs in the United States to now 3 antitrust actions brought by the European Commission. End quote. This was said last year. However, start quote, none of these previous investigations fully address the source of Google's sustained market power and the ability to engage in serial and repeated business practices with the intention to protect and maintain that power. End quote. Now, I don't know. Again, this whole stifling innovation thing is what really annoys me. One company is working very hard on innovating. The fact is, where are they stifling innovation? I really hate the stifling innovation thing. So, for example, there was at one point a rumour that Apple could be forced to ditch the Lightning adapter, and that from then onwards, everyone would have to use USB-C, and you would not be allowed to change this. And people said stifling innovation, and that is true. That is what I can call stifling innovation. It's stopping innovation for anyone at the it's making things simple at the expense of stopping things from getting better. Now, yes, there could have been safeguards to allow you. Yes, you can experiment on new technologies in-house, and if they work well, then they can be brought forward to the European Commission or something. There could have been some sort of safeguard to bring it forwards, but the fact is, this whole stifling innovation argument is really overused. If Google is innovating, then they are not stifling innovation because they're doing it. In my opinion, innovation is innovation, whether it's by one company or whether it's by 10. A company making things, I'm going to say, better or creating new ideas is still innovation. Even if it's Google doing it, it's still innovation. So, I just think this whole thing is definitely devastating. Now, in 2018, the EU did hit Google with a record $5 billion fine. I forgot how large that was. It was due to its search engine practices. I completely understand this. The practices denied rivals the chance to innovate and compete on the same merits. I tried to switch to DuckDuckGo at the beginning of this year to do a 3-month trial. I could have used it. I could have used it happily. The fact is, I didn't want to. When I searched things up, I didn't have as relevant results. I search up... you search things up on Google or on different things. You search things up on other things. It doesn't come up with the company you expect it to. It just is... I understand why Google is dominant. It has a very good right to be dominant, in my opinion. It's very good, it works very well. Now, however, in February, the FTC issued a special order demanding Google, among 4 other major tech companies, to hand over details about its mergers and acquisitions during the past decade. Google has reportedly, according to Crunchbase, acquired at least 181 outside firms. That is a massive number. Now, it was started to investigate whether federal antitrust agencies are getting adequate notice about potentially anti-competitive transactions. But if the findings do result in a specific way, then they could result in enforcement action. Oh my gosh, this is... Yeah, so when you read this whole article, you realise how big Google has become as a target. I personally wasn't alive for any of this, but any of you who were, you will know that Microsoft was sued massively by the Justice Department back when they were, very dominant. Their Internet Explorer was basically said, no, you have to provide a screen basically where you can choose Internet Explorer or other browsers, where you can choose the other browsers. They had to present that screen on there. I personally, I don't know, I don't think Google Chrome was out at the time. It probably wasn't. But the point is, if I ever see that come up on my phone when I get a new phone, I'm going to be hitting that Google button. I know I will be hitting Google. There's not even a question of it. It's actually so hard to... I'm not blaming Google for this. I've fully done this to myself. On an Android phone, it's hard... Or on any device, it's just hard to not search for Google. There's a reason they're dominant. They have the most accurate results I've ever seen. Like, okay, yeah, DuckDuckGo gets it right. Bing, for crying out loud, can't even get it right. These other companies can get it right, but Google has the most accurate results for me. And I need accurate results. So, I just think, Google, do what you want to do, but don't get too big. Because my biggest fear about Google is them being split up, actually, because the thing about Google is it works so well as it is right now. It works. My Google Home, I can literally go, hey Google, what's the weather today?
Currently I'm working at 17 and slightly cloudy. The forecast tonight is for a high...
Yeah, so that's like the temperature in my local area. And the fact is, if that's like, that's seamless, that took it 2 seconds to load that information up. I worry if Google was split up, would I still have my Google Home? Would the world still be what it is today? Like, okay, I'm giving arguments for why it is too big, but it facilitates loads of stuff. And I just can't see Google Home, for example, working without it. I can't see a lot of things working without this. So let's just hope they stay in a safe place with it. Yeah, that's kind of all I have for antitrust probes. Let's go on to Google Smart Home Speaker. This is something that I was not expecting. Now, a lot of you might be disappointed that this is what we're hearing about first. For those of you who have heard about it, we've actually been hearing about a Google about a Google Android TV dongle for quite a long time. This is... So to suddenly have this be confirmed, then it's definitely quite a shock to have this confirmed over anything else. Now, this story comes from 9to5 Google, and this is actually quite amazing. So, last month, 9to5 Google reported on a new speaker, codenamed Prince. Now, this was and is a new Nest branded smart speaker. It has a larger size and a primarily fabric-based design, more in line with the Nest Mini and Google Home Max. Now, this is kind of a shock, and their sources told them that the speaker would come in more colours than just grey that leaked through the Japan equivalent of the FCC. Now, this has since been confirmed to them by Google. This is actually amazing. So, we've had lots of rumours about a new smart TV dongle to go alongside Android TV, but that's been completely unsubstantiated. Nest, on the other hand, with their smart speaker, you know what? You've leaked it. We're going to reveal it. They literally sent it straight to them, images and a video, of how it all works. And whilst it doesn't reveal much, there's a good amount of Nest team members in there. So, it's kind of amazing, really. And if you want to see the video, then go over to 9to5 Google. This did actually come up yesterday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So, this is kind of a late report, but I'm kind of disappointed in this. Not because a new Nest speaker is coming out. I love the Google Home system. As I say, I've got one literally in the room I'm recording in right now. But more because of the repercussion of us not getting the TV dongle. Truth be told, I really want to see that dongle come out. Now, it could be that they're revealing this like this because it's not as big of a deal to them as a resurgence in Android TV. The Android TV thing does seem to be quite big. There's Xiaomi are releasing a new TV stick in multiple countries. We're not sure where yet, but the rumoured release date is the 15th of July. So, depending on the price of that, I might well get one. But it all depends on pricing of everything. And it guarantees to have Netflix and Amazon Prime out of the box, just pre-installed, so I would definitely love to use those on there. But as for everything else, really, Yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping we get to find a Google one, because if Google release their own official one, then I would probably just buy the Google one, especially if it was cheaper. Because I don't have anything against third-party companies, but one thing I really like about Google's devices is the way that they're kind of built. They've got a really nice build quality, one that I know that I definitely feel I can trust. And it just is really nice with the quality. And okay, this is I'm literally just scrolling through the 9to5 Google website. Okay, you know what? We got a new story, literally new. So way back in February, 9to5 Google started tracking a few Pixel code names, and today they just found out what these phones are. Google has put the retail names for these devices in the Google app. So this is definitely so the Google Pixel 4a is confirmed, and it's codenamed Sunfish. We all know it, it's been leaked so much. It's rumoured to be within the $300 to $400 price range, with a lower end Snapdragon 730 SoC. Had lesser specs in general, including plastic body, single camera, smallish battery, and smallish screen. So there's no mystery, but it was possibly going to launch at Google I/O 2020, as a natural sequence in the pattern Google established at I/O 2019 with the launch of the Pixel 3a. Now, the phone is currently set to launch in the second half of the year, but we're not sure. Now, there's also a Pixel 4a 5G. So, assuming this leak is real, then it tells a lot about this by the name. So, I probably won't be going for this phone actually, because this is Snapdragon 76. Yeah, so the 4A I probably wouldn't get. The 4A 5G seems a bit more likely. So the 730 doesn't support 5G. However, the Google Pixel 4a 5G, aka Bramble, is supposedly going to be based on the Snapdragon 765G. So, that's incredible. Now, a couple of Pixel 5 renders have surfaced recently, though, and according to 9to5 Google, they feel that this is the Pixel 4a 5G. So, the physical size of the device led XLeak7, one of the original leakers, to believe it was a Pixel 5 XL, understandably. And yeah, there's also something amazing. But there's also a headphone jack. I can't believe this right now. This is a massive dump. Yeah. So the Pixel 4a 5G in theory will be a Pixel 4a with a larger physical body, larger but similar style screen, Snapdragon 765G chip, 5G and speed benefits that come with it, as well as hopefully a larger battery, as well as possibly a second camera if leaked renders are to be believed. So pretty much everything else will be the 4A, and we basically know everything about that. And then Pixel 5 Redfin. So now they also believe that last week's leak of the Pixel 5 in CAD drawings was real, apparently. Now, these phones don't have a headphone jack, and the phone is apparently physically smaller than the Pixel 4a 5G. So it's likely to have a handful of features to make it the most flagship of the three phones this year, naturally. Now, we don't know if it probably won't go toe to toe with the iPhone Pro series or Galaxy Note 20, but it will probably go up against the Galaxy 12, the iPhone 12 Standard Edition, and the standard Galaxy S series phones. Oh no, sorry, SXE series? I don't know. But basically, it's going to have something, it's going to be going against standard or bottom level flagship devices. And will apparently have a far higher quality external build than the 4A and 4A 5G. Now, we're assuming that it will have more premium build, wireless Qi charging, and in fact a deeper dive at Android 11 DP1, which showed a battery share feature. So a Pixel 5 Redfin could exist with reverse wireless charging. Now, it will probably share a few things. So it could have a very similar, or in fact, it could have the same SoC as the Pixel 4a 5G. So, oh my god, this is confusing. Okay, I don't know. But basically, they're saying that the third Pixel for 2020 will be a Pixel 5 that's between the Pixel 4a and 4a 5G with Snapdragon 765G. So it will probably have improved build quality, wireless charging, and possibly the same camera setup on the outside of the 4a 5G. So we could possibly have fingerprint sensor coming back, because it doesn't seem that there's going to be any face recognition or Project Soli. Now, in the end, there is also rumours about Pixel 5 XL or 5 Ultra, but there's no evidence that either of these exist. And I don't know. This is a really confusing story. I normally give these things a sort of skim read before I report, but this literally broke not long ago at all, so I kind of had to read it. And okay, note to self, phones can go over the half-an-hour recording limit. That's awesome. So yeah, sorry, that was a really shock. So basically, the Pixel 4a is basically confirmed now, and everything we know about that will stand. The Pixel 4a 5G is basically a beefed up Pixel 4a with a Snapdragon 765G, supposedly, and a bigger screen, as well as a bit of a better camera. And the Pixel 5 will basically be that, but with maybe a better camera in terms of the actual pixel sensor, the actual camera sensor, and also no headphone jack. Reverse wireless charging. I don't know, this is really confusing right now. But the Pixel 4a 5G is supposedly going to have a larger display than the Pixel 5. So I don't know, I'm confused. But anyway, personally I think Google needs to release these at the 5a, 5G and Pixel 5. Just make it so that the same products are launched in the same year with the same number, but, anyway. That is everything for today's episode. That was a massive shock to see popping up on here. But, that literally popped up in 2 minutes. Anyway, that's everything for today. We've had a pretty shocking just news to fly at us today. Now, it is for weekend coming up, and with the weekend comes the general warning, tech news could be bland. There might not be much of it, there might not be any of it, for all I know. I will get you 2 episodes. One will be the weekly roundup, which will have a much more fleshed out, filling over that Pixel 5 Pixel story. I will definitely work that in there. There's a few other things. So, also Monday or Sunday, depending on news. If Sunday has a lot of news, then it'll be Sunday, but if not, then it'll probably be Monday. Sunday or Monday is going to be the first joint episode with someone else. I'm not going to spoil too much, but basically someone else is going to be on the podcast, and we're going to do a discussion. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to turn into a regular thing, it depends how this goes, but it could turn into a regular thing. We have no idea. Now, I do just want to officially confirm this. From Saturday the 18th of July to probably Saturday the 25th, maybe Friday the 24th, I will be on holiday, so I'm going to have a nice week off. Unless anything major breaks, I will not be doing an episode for that week. So say you're someone who's been trying to follow along but can't really do it because there's too many episodes, hey, you got a perfect amount of time to try and catch up. I know I personally would be finding it hard to listen to every single episode, but the first episode will probably be on Saturday the 25th. So yeah, I have an amazing week in Cornwall for that week, and I really do hope that everyone is either enjoying a nice summer holiday if they're on it, or if you're not on your summer holidays, then I hope you're getting ready to have a nice time when it comes. I know summer holidays seem a bit bland with the whole lockdown situations. Here in the UK, things are reopening, hence why I'm kind of looking forward to it. Obviously, I understand if it's not the same in your country, you probably aren't as much. Anyway, that's it for today. I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow's episode, if there is really nothing super interesting, I will do a tutorial on macOS and how to install it. That tutorial will be a videoed episode. I actually need to set this up for myself anyway, so you know what? I am going to do this anyway because I actually had it set up, but as I said, I'm still tinkering around with spacing. I wish I could just stop tinkering with the spacing on my computer and just say, you know what, I'm going to leave it like this. It's done, it's over, leave it. But I am such an avid tinker. Like, I got something planned with my phone over the weekend to hopefully make it actually a little bit better. But again, I have no idea whether. Yeah, I'm a tinkerer. When it comes down to using my phones and stuff, I tinker with it a lot. So yeah, that's everything, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.